Hi guys, welcome back again. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at SQL injection. Well, SQL injection is one of the oldest web vulnerability and still one of the most dangerous when it's misconfigured. Of course, it can lead to data breach, attackers getting customer information, and a lot of bad things could happen if a database is misconfigured. All right, in today's video, we are going to first take a look at the theory behind SQL injection, and of course, we are going to be having a lab demonstration to see how SQL injection works in practice. All right, without wasting your time, let's get started. Alright guys, before we begin, we are going to be getting a high level overview of what an SQLi injection is. We are going to be defining SQLi injection, looking at some of the causes and the impact of a successful SQLi attack, and also the defense against such attacks. Alright, anyway, now we are going to begin by defining an SQLi injection. An SQLi attack is a web security vulnerability that usually allows an attacker to interfere with the queries that an application makes to its database. It usually occurs when a user controlled data is used to modify the SQL query, potentially allowing an attacker to bypass security measures. All right, so if we look at the OWASP, or according to the OWASP top 10, SQLi injection consistently appears in the OWASP top 10 list of web security risk, which show that this is a very serious risk to web applications, right? The next step is we are going to be looking at some of the causes of SQL injection, right? Some of the causes are, of course, unsafe query construction, missing user input, inadequate input validation can also allow an attacker to inject malicious SQLi code through the user input feed, of course, and also the use of dynamic SQL can create vulnerabilities if not handled carefully, and the lack of parameterized queries. All right. What are the impact of a successful SQL attacks? A successful SQL injection attack can allow attacker, of course, to bypass authentication, manipulate data, and in some cases, an attacker can gain or fully compromise the backend system, which could also lead to a breach, right? The good news is SQL injection can be prevented when you follow the right practices. For example, by implementing a web application firewall, using a parameterized query or prepare statement to ensure that user input is treated as data and not as a SQL code. And of course, implementing robust server-side validation to sanitize user input and prevent malicious SQL code. And of course, regularly perform a security testing and code reviews. This could reduce the potential vulnerability of SQLi. Now that we have gotten a quick understanding of what SQLi is, in the next session, we will walk through a practical lab demonstration to see how SQLi works in practice. All right, see you in the next session. Hello guys, welcome to the practical demonstration session of the video. And a quick disclaimer that this video is for educational purposes only. All information and techniques shared in this video are intended to help improve cybersecurity. You should know that unauthorized hacking is illegal and can lead to serious consequences. All right, so be careful with what you do and make sure you have the right permission. All right, in today's demonstration, I will be using the Podswigger Web Security Lab. If you want to follow along, I highly recommend you sign up for the Podswigger Web Security Academy so that you can follow along. All right, so I've already logged into the Portugal Web Security Academy. So we are going to be choosing, in this case, I will choose this lab. This lab, as it says, it contains a SQL injection vulnerability in the product category filter, right? So the results from the query are returned in the application response. So you can use a union attack to retrieve data from other tables, all right? So to solve this lab, we are going to perform an SQL injection union attack that retrieve all username and password and use the information to log in as the administrator user. All right, so right now we are going to access the lab. We wait while it loads. All right, so we are going to go to the category of gifts. So what I will be doing is I will copy the URL and we'll move straight to the terminal and test it with SQL map. All right, so if you are new to SQL map, to get started, of course, you can use the SQL map -help. All right, it is clearly explained how to use SQL map. Of course, most of the commands we are going to be using are in the section of the enumeration. Of course, if you are curious, you can uh, dig deeper and learn more about SQL map. All right, to begin, we are going to begin with the database management system enumeration. So to do that, I will be typing in the SQL map command as well. We give it the target, which is the user. So I'm going to be pasting in the target we copied, and then we want to enumerate the database management system, which is -dbs. Of course, we are going to be answering some SQL map information. In this case, it is asking that we are testing connection to the target URL. We do not have a cookie declared, so SQL map want to set its own. We are going to say yes, of course. It is checking if the target is protected by some kind of WAF or IPS. Okay. As you can see, the get category appears to be Boolean blind based and it is injectable. And also, it seems that the backend DBMS could be PostgreSQL, and it is asking us if we want to skip test payload specific for other DBMS. Yes. And do you want to include all tests for PostgreSQL? In this case, we are going to say yes. Of course, SQL map is doing its thing, and we are going to wait for a while for it to complete. Of course, the parameter appears to be PostgreSQL 8.1, and in this case, it is injectable. The get parameter category is vulnerable. Do you want to keep testing the others? In this case, no. Let's focus on the category that is vulnerable. All right. The DBMS is PostgreSQL, of course, so we are going to wait for SQL map to finish its thing. All right, as you can see, we do have one database available, in this case, the public. So right now we are going to enumerate the DB folder. So in this case, it was able to identify a database called public. So in this case, we are going to enumerate the database public. And we need the tables, of course. We are going to include the batch command so that the SQL map will not ask us for user input. So I'm going to hit enter. Of course, you can also come here to see if you need the help or guide. You can come here to in the enumeration section and you can find all the commands we are using. Okay. All right. It was able to identify two tables, The first table is the product, and we have the users table. In my case, the users table seems interesting, so I believe in this table there could be credentials like password and usernames. All right, so we are going to dump this user table and see what we can find. All right, so in this case, we need the table of users, and we are going to dump it. All right, let's see what we can find. All right, we were able to find password and the username. Of course, we do have the hash value of the username admin, and we also have other username like Vina, Carlos, and so if you are interested in solving the lab, so of course you can copy the password hash, and we'll come here and say, I think in this case my account, the username is administrator, right? And we paste in the password hash we copied and login. Correct? I think that was wrong. Let me copy it again. Add, I think add ministry. All right, we have successfully solved the lab. Maybe in the previous attempt I made mistake with the username administrator. All right, that was it. Of course, it was to showcase the impact of SQL injection. All right, we've seen how dangerous this vulnerability could be. It could expose the client information, customer information, their credentials. SQL injection is a very dangerous vulnerability and should be prevented. All right, thank you for watching, and that was it for today. See you next time.